What's up, Wrap Shop Talk? So today I'm visiting Justin. I don't even know your last name.
Tran.
Tran with Justawrap. That's just how I know you, as Justawrap. I've been paying attention to Justin for years. I've always in the Jacksonville market paid attention to everybody, but I was always like you were saying, I'm never at the car meets. I just lived in my shop, which you also do, but then also somehow go out to the car meets. I think it's because you're a little younger. But you've been in business officially for 3 years or so, you were saying? And yeah, I'd love to basically kind of dive in. I know what I want to ask you on this, but tell me a little bit about like how you first got into rapping.
Yeah. Okay. So like, it's so funny how it started. So with my cousin, I didn't even know anything about cars that much. All I knew was that I wanted a Honda Accord Coupe, and with blue, like the Asian blue color with gold wheels and tinted headlights and taillights. That's all I knew. Um, and then so when I moved here, I actually came from Hawaii. I moved here, and he was like, he's a Subi. He's in high school. He's like, all of a sudden we see a cool car like on the road and it's green. And we asked the guy, we're like, how'd you get that color? And he's like, oh, I wrapped it. So he told my cousin the wrap color, supposedly. We got the wrap. Turns out it wasn't even the right color. But he was like, okay, we're wrapping my car. I'm like, what is that? And then he's like, it's a big sticker for the car. We're going to YouTube it. We're going to figure it out. So we started in the garage. We just started doing it. And we watched a lot of CK raps.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, it was a lot harder than I thought. He made it look so easy. We started doing hood, bumpers, and we could not do it for our life. Like, it was really tough. But then after we were finished, like, it took us like almost a whole month to do it. And we finally got it done. It was like a nice green Subi with black accents all over the place. And what got me really into it, hooked, was like when we were done, everyone saw like, whoa, like this thing is different. What's that paint job and all that? We're like, no, it's rap, you know? And then I was toying around with, and then the idea, like, oh, like what if we do more people's cars, We're talking to my cousin Brandon, and we're working on it, and we started talking to other people, and then they're like, hey, why don't you wrap our car? So he's in the Subi world, and then there's another of our friend, he was like, oh, wrap my car. So like we did it for like super cheap. We didn't know. $1,000.
Right.
Both of us, including material. Oh my gosh. Material's already like 500, $600.
Yeah.
And then so we're making 400 for like a whole week or so, or week and a half. And then in the end, we're like, oh, okay, $200 split. I guess. But it was fun though, because after that, like people saw the car and everyone was like, whoa, this is crazy, and then my cousin was like, oh, let's think of like, kind of like a brand. And I was like, everyone talks about his paint, it's paint. And I'm like, it's not paint, it's just a wrap, and I was just messing around because I'm like, nobody does it, they're gonna think it's dumb and stupid. And I'm like, it's just a wrap. Just a wrap, So then we did it, and then that's kind of how, like, like it happened.
So that was the origin story.
Yeah.
Now, you said that, was this in Hawaii or was this in Jacksonville?
No, this is in Jacksonville. Okay. Yeah. So this is only like barely a year after I moved here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Awesome. And so getting started with it, you charged a couple people some pretty cheap prices for the first couple.
Yeah.
Now we've got the business named. What came next?
So like after that, more people started to hear about us. We slowly got more cars coming in, and be honest, we were just doing it for fun after a while because we're both in school. He was still in high school, finishing high school. I was in college. I was also working another job at that time. I was working pita pit, making pitas. Yeah. I was working pita pit in downtown, and I was doing that and just wanted to hustle at the same time, make some money during, when I'm doing school and all that. And then kind of like, it was just, we just kept it going, with people having to come, and they're like, oh, let's get a car wrapped. So we started doing hoods, more roofs and all that. And it's a small jobs, chrome deletes. So we started catering to, because he had a Subi, so we started catering to his whole Subi community. We did a lot of hoods, a lot of roofs and trunks. Subis, they love that. The black hood roof trunk, carbon hood roof trunk, continuously, just like, the Dodge Chargers and Challengers, like it's like a whole cult, it's funny.
Yeah.
So then we started that, and then I got my car, the Honda, and then we catered to the whole Honda community, and then everyone just started to know us from there. Like that's when my cousin had his car, and then I had my car, and then like I wrapped my car, and then the next step was just to get everybody to kind of like know like we're that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you focus mostly, to kind of give some context on, or at least at first you focus purely on color change or like restyling type work, right?
Right.
Okay. And and so I think it's highly overlooked how much money you can make on hood, roof, and
Yeah.
trunk.
Oh yeah, it's quick. Like honestly, a hood get it done in like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Like 20-30 minutes. From prepping it, like maybe if you had to clay bar it really hard,
Yeah.
and you got to really get, if it's really rough and the car is really dirty, then it's gonna take a little bit longer.
For sure.
Maybe like 45 minutes. But still, like you're making at like back then I was making at least like it's $100 per, like in labor per
Right.
hood, so it's like super quick, and I'm like, wow, that's fast. And so like the concept of money is like I was barely like 30 minutes and $100 an hour. Where else are you gonna get that?
Not at Pita Pit.
No, I was making $10 an hour at Pita Pit. Yeah, so it was like times 10, and I'm like, wow, this is like something different. But to me, it wasn't even really about the money though. It was more about like the car looks different.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's different.
So you're super driven by the passion behind cars,
Yeah.
and probably even seeing people enjoying the transformation of
Mhm.
their vehicle itself.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, it's like when people pick up their car. So like sometimes they'll even stay there. And in the beginning, I was really, nervous, like doing in front of their face. I'm cutting in front of their face. They're like, you're not gonna cut my car, right? I'm like, I'll be okay, no worries. And you get a little shaky, but after a while, like, when they see the finished product, you bring it outside, they're like, wow, this is a whole new car.
Yeah.
And something as simple as just a hood or just a chrome delete,
Mhm.
like so simple, but it changes the whole car. Yeah.
Yeah. So how long did it take you to really gain traction, to like, so let's just say, what did your year one look like? Was it pretty busy straight off? And was it attributed to possibly like a lower price? Like, uh, we haven't really talked to anybody that's in your world
Yeah.
yet that's 3 years in. There's a
Yeah.
lot of people right now in this industry that are either really new or kind of just getting in, and they're getting their face punched in.
Mhm.
And you're doing very well, like very well. I don't see you slowing down at all. You've been incredibly busy. Probably, I would say probably from what my perspective, the last year and a half is like when you just like hockey sticked and have been busier than you know what to do with.
Mhm.
So year one, what was your business like then? I want to kind of like go year by year of kind of like what you were doing,
Yeah.
how busy were you, what did it look like, etc.
How it started and
Yeah.
like
So
okay.
we're
Yeah.
now we've got hood wraps and
Mhm.
all that stuff for the Honda and the Subi community, but
Yeah.
like let's just say that's like probably the first 3 to 6 months.
Right.
How did the last 6 months? Did you start acquiring a lot more color changes at that point,
So
or?
yeah, so actually my whole basis of everything, and I'm actually super grateful for me actually starting on small jobs, because to be honest, the small jobs actually is the one that honed my skills. Chrome deletes are the biggest thing that actually honed my skills to make me a better rapper, to make me a better rapper, to have full raps on these people's cars. But when people heard, so biggest thing was just me rapping my own car, right? Um, I got my car and it was only maybe like 3 months in, and I already wrapped my whole car, you
Mm.
know. But like the first 3 to 6 months, yeah, small job. We get one full wrap like once in a long while and all that. But it was just like when we started to get really known in the community, I have my car out there. I'm going to car meets all the time, and people see, oh, that's a wrapped car, like, oh, and then they're like, who did your wrap? And I'm like, oh, I did. I'm like, I could wrap your car. And I would give a pretty fair price to what I thought. I was at home doing this on the side. I'm like, I'm gonna take a while with your car, and I'm doing this on the side. It's for fun, it's a hobby,
So you set the expectation up front though that
Yes.
like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
I am just getting into this,
Mm-hmm.
etc. And
Yeah.
I always felt like you were very honest on that.
Yeah.
Because I was paying, like I would see you
Yeah.
have the exchanges on Facebook and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what were you charging for a full color change on year one?
Back then,
Yeah.
Oh man. So yeah, that first job was 1,000 with material, and I was like, gosh, that sucked. But after that, I changed it to, I think it was 16 or 1,600, I
Yeah.
think. So it's still, lower. I make 1,000, but it would take me like a whole week.
Right.
No, actually, sorry, it was a 14, and then
You just got
as I went more, so I think I did it by every 3 or 6 month increment. I would
Mhm.
up it by like another 200 and all
Okay.
that. So I went 14, I went 16. When I got comfortable with more, I got 18,
Mhm.
100, and then I was like, okay, that's getting to pretty decent, and I would be booked up with a lot of people.
Oh, well, it's because you were cheap, but
Yeah, exactly,
that's
for
okay.
sure, for
How old
sure.
were you? To
So,
put some clarification on that
how old was I at that
at this
time?
time.
Or how old am I now?
No, how old were you then?
I was only 20. That's what, 5, like about 5 years ago. That's 20. I was 20 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, sorry, 19. Yeah.
So you're 19 years old. I
Yeah.
mean, so I just wanted to put some context on that because
Yeah.
like a 19-year-old, it's kind of understandable that a lot of people do put a lot of hate.
Yeah.
I do agree that you don't want to undercut the market and all that stuff, but you got somebody that's like, are y- is your family very entrepreneurial?
Yeah. They
Okay.
are. Yeah.
Because usually it is with like, your background is
Yeah.
either is or isn't.
Oh yeah. No.
So,
Because I was in the nursing program
okay.
actually. I was in medical.
Right.
Asian
Of course.
medical
That's what I
has to
meant
be
by
medical. Yeah.
your background. It
Yeah.
wasn't necessarily a jab, but
No.
it's like you see in a lot of like minority families where like there's typically a path
Hmm.
and they're like hardcore about that path, or they're like insanely entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
Like and so I was just curious on your family. So you guys were very entrepreneurial at the
Oh
get-go.
yeah.
Because I was just curious if you had anybody that was helping you with your pricing or seeing any of that, like, or were you purely
No.
just by yourself?
For the most part, it was pretty much by myself. So it's interesting because I have a different kind of way that I make pricing
Okay.
versus how other shops make pricing.
Sure.
You know, I know a lot of shops, I know they do square feet.
Yes.
I don't do that. I have a flat rate kind of based on the car and the color of the car, how hard the car, like the aggressive body lines, and whether it's like a supercar. But I do it pretty fair, even though it's a supercar. Um, like it was more off of like based off the car. If it was like, let's say, I think, let's see, when I started to do that pricing, it was like, oh, a white car would be like 1,200 or no, 1,400 labor, while a black car would be like only 1,000 labor. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Okay.
So like it would be easier. And then also I was doing all my disassembly at that time too. I would take apart all the car, I would do everything. So like it would entail everything, but like I had a basis of like how I structured my
Yeah.
wrap pricing.
It was like
Yeah.
a tiered pricing based on complexity,
You're right, right.
and that's good. I mean, because per square foot can get you in trouble. Like, let's just say per square footage on a street bike
Yeah.
versus, you're not going to make any money and you're going to
Right.
spend just as much time as on a car.
Oh yeah.
So, I think it's a great tool to use to check your math, but you should definitely get into the details when you're doing any kind of quoting. Like,
Right.
disassembly should be a line item,
Oh,
period.
yep.
Because eventually, we'll talk about it later, you'll hire a person to do that for
Hmm.
you, which is what you're doing now, so that
Right.
you don't have to do that.
Hmm.
So, um, fantastic. So that that got you going, and you started to get a line of work in. Did you continue to raise prices? Even like so year two, you
I
kept
did. It was more by the year and also how busy I got booked. So like it's some funny. So off of YouTube, uh, a lot of people hate him. It's paradox
of
raps.
course. I
But
think the guy's
it's
genius, by the way.
yeah, no, right. It's his marketing that does it. It's the way he markets it.
Yes.
The more haters is more publicity, right?
Yes.
But he does have some really good points as well too, as in like you have to let people understand that if you're booked out, you're premium, you know? And if so, then if you want premium work, then you can wait.
Yeah.
But then that's when was it? He was helping me out here and there. I kind of started with him. It's funny, like we would FaceTime sometimes when we were rapping, and he
Really.
would talk and give me tips and all that. It's more about business, not even like the rapping,
Of course.
And it was so if there was a point where I got booked up for like 3, 4 months,
Right.
and I'm at home, and I'm like, think I maybe need to raise my price just a little bit, So I raised $200 more, and I'm like, okay. And people are still booking. I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And then there was a point I keep booking all these people in, and then I got booked to my furthest I got booked out to a point was 6 months. And I'm like, and you know what? They waited. They waited for that because I think biggest thing to me that I was just stressing upon was the quality of the work.
Yeah.
I take my time. I make sure it's not rushed. And I
Yeah.
make sure everything like sometimes I get really OCD. If I see like a speck of debris or something, then I'll or too much specks of debris, I'll kind of redo the panel.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just like keeping the standard and all that too.
Well, it's funny because a lot of people say, oh, if they're that cheap, they must not be that good. There are other things to this puzzle. In this case, you got a 19-year-old kid that's OCD that just doesn't know business yet,
Right.
who doesn't have overhead yet,
Mhm.
who is enjoying what they're doing, and they're making a lot more than beat up it. So you factor all that in,
Yeah.
you're actually kind of a dangerous thing in the space because a lot of people aren't OCD and they just want the quick dollar, right? You liked the money, you were clearly money driven, but at the same time, like I think you're probably a much larger car enthusiast.
Yes.
And so that's a dangerous combination. And that's why you were booked up 6 months, whether you know it or not. So you have a bargain sale, which isn't insulting you. It's just like you got a 19-year-old that's doing a good job.
Right.
I'm going to take advantage of it.
Right.
And then you have all these people are like, I'm willing to wait because everybody else is twice or 3 times as much. But I know I'm going to get a great job.
Right.
So, whenever somebody's undercutting in the market, you have to just ask yourself as like the competitor, like, well, are they doing as good a job as me? Now, I'm sure there were some problems that you learned with being that cheap
Yeah.
or I hate the word cheap, let's just say being that affordable, being at that price, you probably at some point realized, like maybe when you started hiring help, that this isn't sustainable. I don't know where your prices were. So let's jump a little further. Like let's just say year two. And what I mean by, let's just say even like when you opened your shop.
Yeah.
So that was 3 years ago, right?
Yeah. So, well, no, actually, when I went official was when I quit the nursing
Peter Pitt,
program. Yeah, no
or
more nursing program.
okay, nursing program.
Yeah, no more. So it just wasn't working out. It was COVID time. I
Yeah.
can't do online for my life. But I was like, I'm gonna go full blown into the business after that. And I actually rented out of another mechanic shop.
Okay.
And I had one small spot, and maybe like barely like the size of this, like just
corner.
Yeah, one small corner. Probably the dustiest corner. I hated it, but
Yeah.
I just needed something to I wanted to get myself a feel for the shop, So that's when I made my business, official and all that. It's not just on the side anymore. I'm going all out into this. And like from there, I think that changed how people thought of me as well too.
Yeah.
Because they take you a little bit more serious.
You're not a side hustle anymore.
Yeah. And also, the biggest thing was also like, I didn't want my parents to think like I'm bringing so many people to the house,
Yeah.
It's a little like it's not my house either.
It's an invasion of privacy for sure.
Yes, for sure. So I wanted to cut that down. They don't have to worry about it, people that they don't know and all that. But just being in a shop and all that gave a different feel. And from there, I was like, okay, now I'm in a shop. I should be able to do better work in a shop. I have more accessibility to things. It should be a lot better, more efficient, but also the job should turn out a lot better. So from there, that's when I raised my price again, And going into that was a big push. I I took in more cars than I ever did at home, because I was able to do like this, right? They let me work on the side, take other spot as well too, as long as I wasn't taking up too much of the space. So I can do a full wrap, but I can also do a hood wrap.
Yes.
Yeah, so I can do a hood wrap while it's just right here. Get them done in an hour or so. Okay, thank you, and then back to this full wrap.
Right.
So it was stuff like that that I saw. I was like, wow, that's big opportunity. When you have more space, you can do more things. I mean, it's not like and I plan everything out really well. I don't take my eyes off this car too long because I know if I do, then that's gonna delay that, and then everyone else taken care of, and this guy's like, what the heck, But that's when I saw. I was like, oh, okay, so I can do more with this space and all that. But like also with hiring and all that, I did have people approach me and they're like, "Hey, let me be your, like disassembly guy or whatever. Let me just make some money with you, you know?" And I'm like, "Oh, okay, sure. Yeah." I'll be honest, I was kind of tired of disassembly after a while. Yeah, and reassembly and all that. Yeah. But coming into the year that I went into that shop over there, it was just it was something different, and then I threw like, meats over there, and then that's how more people, and I would always put a car there, either my car or some crazy car there just to display my work.
Okay.
Yeah.
So before we talk about that, you said that you went into another shop. So you
Mhm.
kind of like house hacked another shop, or you subletted
Yeah.
another, detail shop or mechanic shop, et cetera, that
Mhm.
a lot of people need to be aware of, that that's a possibility that are coming out of the garage. Like,
Right.
it's a safer way than going straight into, like, say, this building.
Yes, I think that's smart to get a feel for it
Mhm.
versus jumping into it. Like, I've always planned my things ahead. Like I said, it's just I never liked the idea of just jump into the water and figure out how to swim.
Mhm.
Yeah, eventually you'll figure it out, but like it's gonna be really rough and it might take you backward.
That's my style.
Yeah. Yeah. See, it's scary. So like, what is it? I like to take risks, but like calculated risks, if that
Yes.
makes sense. Yeah.
Yes.
Hmm.
Sometimes I don't always do the math. I just send it.
Yeah.
But how did you approach them? Did you know them or meet them through the car meet community? Is that
Hmm.
how you met them?
So I actually met them, yeah, at a meet at their shop.
Okay.
And they actually approached me because I actually brought multiple cars to that meet, like me and the people that we wrapped.
Mhm.
It was like I think it was four of us that day, and
Mhm.
it was over at Jack Spec. And like we was it one of the owners came to me. I was like, "Hey, what do you think about like maybe renting out a spot?" It's funny because like he approached me first, and I didn't even ask him, and I'm like, "That's the perfect timing," because I was literally just thinking about it. I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, let's do it," and then we worked out a price and all that, and
What did you pay?
it's only $500 a month.
It's not bad. So,
Yeah.
and that's in like kind of like today's time. So it's just a couple years back. That's that's pretty generous, especially if you
Yeah.
had access to a little bit
I
more.
had access to, so if the guys like were there and all that, they helped me out with like tools and all that
Yeah.
if I needed to too. So I had access to the guys. I also had access to like, yeah, had like the basic necessity bathroom. They had a fridge. If they
Mhm.
had water fountain, I could
Not
have
to mention,
water.
you weren't
Yeah.
paying for HVAC. You weren't
Yeah.
paying for.
Well, we didn't have,
Okay,
that there. It was
but still, you
temp.
didn't have
It
to
was
pay for
rough.
internet.
Yeah. Yes. Internet.
You didn't have to pay
Yes.
for water. You didn't have to
No.
pay for cam. You didn't
Mm-mm.
have to pay for all these other
Mhm.
insurance,
Yes.
per
Yeah.
se. Technically, you should have your own policy though, because it's your own business. But
Policy. Yeah.
but you know, there are some things like their garage keepers would probably cover your car,
Yeah.
and they would just be very upset. Like,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? So
Right.
so there's some perks to that. Now, how long did you stay in that building?
I was there for a year and a half.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much business came from the car meets?
A lot. A lot. I mean, that's literally the whole basis, like the whole foundation of a big foundation of just a rap in general
Mhm.
was car community. Yeah.
So you just infiltrated, like, and that's what I've just noticed about you.
Yeah.
It's just like, um, you you had zero, like, you didn't necessarily market, like, you didn't ever see ad spend. Because I pay attention. Like, I know
Yeah.
everybody who's running ads
Yeah.
in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Because I just reverse look it all up. I look at them like, okay, do I like this ad? Like, how long has it been running for? Like, okay,
Mhm.
this one's doing great. This also means that they're doing well. Like that, you can learn a lot of data. And like, I was always like very sneaky about it.
Mhm.
But I also never left my shop, so that's why nobody ever saw me.
Right.
So uh, but what I saw from you was, man, it didn't matter if it was the Corvette community, the Mustang community, like you were in every single one of them because they would invite you because you were holding car meets,
Mhm.
and they would say, "Hey, I want a hood wrap," or "Hey, who's the best wrap in town?" Da da da. And obviously, there's a lot of names that get thrown in, but like over time, it just started like just a wrap, just a wrap, just a wrap,
Mhm.
just a wrap. Like I was like, Jesus, like this
Yeah.
kid is just like. Facebook warfare.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
it was wild what you were doing. But I didn't know that you were hosting car meets. I knew that you were going to them, but I didn't
Yeah.
know that you were actually like trying to host them at the shop and stuff.
Yeah, like it was more like I would host a collab with the shop, together.
Hmm.
Yeah. But it was more of like hosting. So like I'm the head of the North Florida Honda group,
Hmm.
and it's a little inactive now because I've been so busy. But like when we were doing it, we had monthly meets, and honestly, that brought so much attention because like Hondas are they're
So
always going to be underrated.
it's well,
Yes. Yeah.
it's a low barrier of
Yeah.
entry,
Hmm.
but I don't care if it's the Lamborghini behind you,
Yeah.
the Audi or the Corvette or the Honda. Like that could be that individual person's dream car.
Hmm.
Like
Exactly.
I have access to like I have an NSX myself with very low miles. It's a beautiful car. I'm not lying. I will stop on a dime for a freaking 91 CRX.
Yeah.
Like it's so weird. It could be a clapped out CRX and I'm just like,
Hmm.
oh, it's a CRX.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what it is, but like
Yeah.
car enthusiasts, like it doesn't matter which brand, like the Scion guys for a while had a huge cult. Every community has a cult. And so who cares if it's Honda? Who cares what name is on it? There's just levels to it, but the passion behind it is exactly the same.
Hmm. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Cause like what is it? Like understanding that and understanding the car community is like I feel like a big saying of me is this like take care of the people and they'll take care of you,
Oh yeah.
and that same goes for the car community. It's big. So like because I was so involved with the community, I always took care of the community. And also with groups, especially if they had groups and as a group of friends, I'll give them a discount, be like, hey, it's multiple of you, like let's get it done. and
So you're
and and you
group
know
buy.
what, people talk for me, and after a while I didn't have to do the advertising. There is no advertising.
No,
Or like from me, like I don't have to push Google Ads or anything. I actually didn't even know about that.
no.
I wasn't aware of the whole Google game at that point. It's just like wrap my car, it looks pretty, it looks nice, and everyone is gonna see it. My biggest thing was I love flashy. So like especially that's why I did like my as my second wrap, I did it in Chrome.
Yeah,
And
I remember
it's
that.
a hard thing to work with. But oh, that drew so much attention to my car, no matter what. Like people come by, whoa, that's a crazy wrap. And that brought me a lot of business.
I have no doubt.
Yeah, like a lot. Because my thing has always been like this, right? If you can install Chrome, you can almost install like anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's been the biggest thing. And people can see that. And some people, I even encourage them to even try themselves.
Mhm.
I'm like, hey, try yourself, and then if you don't think you can, then come to me because I can definitely do it. Yeah.
That's a real
Yeah.
subtle way of putting respect on my name.
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah.
It's like you get that little taste of like what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's certainly not easy. Like you said, I remember doing my first hood wrap on my Miata,
Hmm.
and thought I was the smartest man in the world and took the hood off the car, and that
Yeah.
made it harder.
Oh, you took the
Yeah,
oh my
well, I was
gosh.
trying to make it easier, but it made it way harder.
Yeah.
But so I think that's cool. Now, when you did your group, did you make them all like kind of like sign up at the same time? Or was it like you would try to do like package deals for the community? So like
It
you'd say
was
like, I want to
yeah.
fill in my schedule. Let's
Hmm.
do 5 hoods.
Hmm.
I'll give you guys an X discount, and you would like buy one roll of film.
Yeah.
You
Well, it was more like this. Like, okay, so I was taking care of my Honda community very much. Anybody in the group that wanted it, I gave them like maybe a couple $100 off.
Okay.
I was like, hey, I'm gonna take care of you, a couple $100 off. Just put my sticker on the back.
Okay.
That's it. And then yeah, from there it's like, I'm like, oh, like yeah, it kind of does it in and of itself. And people will tell other people and they're like, hey, if you have a Honda too, you're in this group, go to Justin.
Well, they're
You
also
you get a
inviting
percentage off.
the other Honda people into your Facebook communities and
Hmm.
stuff like that too. So you are actually incubating a environment that actually was for you to sell to, but you had so much goodwill in it that you didn't need to sell it yourself. Other people sold it for you.
Right. Right.
And that's a strategy I've leveraged for years. I do that in the business Facebook groups,
Hmm.
but it was totally different. I would just offer advice and help wherever I could. And then that allowed people to be like, see my name, they would go inspect, they would see I do wraps, then they would just DM me and do a wrap, and it would be in different states oftentimes.
Oh yeah.
And that's how I infiltrated it, if you will. But I think that's awesome. So now we're 2 years in. Are you still alone? Are you still mostly by yourself at that shop?
So, was at that shop, I pretty much soloed everything.
Everything.
Um, well, for the most part, after a while, I had a disassembly guy come along for me, and he was working for me.
Was
So,
he from that mechanic shop?
no, he actually wasn't. He was a customer over there, and he's like, "Hey, I see you like cars. I like to work on cars too. I just moved here,
Okay.
and I wanna like get involved in this." And he used to wrap up in was it in another place as well too. And he was like, "Hey, I have experience in this. Like, let me help you out." So then we thought of ways to work it out because I used to do the assembly and reassembly, and I'm like, what is it gonna like take from me? And then also, is it gonna make my jobs better and all that? So then actually, I just put the trust in him, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay, you know what? I think I can try to do this because I would take a whole day on disassembly, like,
Yeah.
and it takes so much time. And I'm like, I can have someone else do it, and I just prep the car,
You
and
can be
then they
doing
do it,
hoods.
and yeah, and then just wrap it. That's it.
Mhm.
Yeah, something. It makes my life easier, even though I have to pay. I guess I pay more for convenience in a way,
You're
Yeah.
buying back your time.
Mm-hmm.
You might not yet know how to leverage that in your favor greatly yet,
Mm-hmm.
but that's all you're doing when you trade dollars for a service
Mm-hmm.
is you're buying back your time.
Yeah.
And so, but your time is better suited, like your skill set. Like, okay, cool, you can pull apart a car, but
Right.
like, let's just say you could do, if you even if you just did simply one hood wrap
Mm-hmm.
while he's doing that disassembly, and you also baked in the expense of him disassembling the car
Yeah.
while you're doing like you're you're doing what you like doing anyway. Like,
Yeah.
let's be real, you don't like pulling apart cars. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of fun sometimes, but really not really. Especially once you start getting into like the luxury
Mhm.
slash nicer cars. Like pulling apart a Honda is no problem, but pulling apart like some of these Toyotas even, like or Lexus,
Yeah.
it's not
Lexus
fun.
sometimes, especially like the front bumper,
Hmm.
it's a pain and
Right.
it gets scary,
So I just not a fan. I think it's very smart for color change shops to incorporate
Mhm.
a contracted and or full-time mechanic to
Yeah.
bust down cars and bring them back up. It's probably less liability too, because like they understand it. That's what they do.
Right.
Let you wrap, let them do what they do,
Mhm.
and it favors their skill set. Um, it's a smart move. How much does he charge you typically?
So
Probably varies, but
yeah, it depends. Well, no, after a while, I figured out a rate, right?
okay.
Because I realized I'm so consistent with all these color change. I'm always getting at least one or two every week,
Okay.
and it's so for like a half disassembly, which is like black cars, they don't need to be fully
Yeah.
disassembled. Bumpers don't need to come off and all that. We just do like, let's say like Honda car, like handle, side mirror, antenna, and that's it. That's it. Just
Yeah.
something simple. That's 120. And that's
It's great.
disassembly and reassembly.
Wow.
So that's, you come and do it and you come back and you do it. Now, full disassembly, now you include the bumpers, both bumpers, headlights as well too on top of all that stuff, and any other trim that needs to be done. Then it's usually about 300. Yeah.
Okay.
Or let's say like if cars are a little bit harder, like depending on the car, like let's say Camry TRD, like it's a pain in the butt. It has a lip kit, and that's even harder to take apart. Or Supra and all that. Those can be, usually the Camry TRD is like it can range up to like 400
Okay.
sometimes, but depending on the car. So that's pretty much my flat rate going on forth to it, and I factor that into the whole wrap.
Yeah.
hmm
So does the customer see that as a line item, or are you just saying one price?
All together.
Okay.
So it's all together. Just because was it s- it's good for some people to like understand like yeah, black cars don't need to be taken apart as much, but like they don't need to know too much, if that
Yeah,
makes sense,
for sure.
because they're gonna get very like they're gonna think too much, and the last thing you want your customer to do is think too much, you
For
know.
sure.
Because like, they're like, oh, black car, why don't you treat this, different? Like,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, we could, but it doesn't need it, you know. Yeah.
They're the end result's the same, really. So,
Right.
okay,
Right.
got it. Well, now that you did you do you pass that full expense on to the customer, or are you kind of like splitting it with the customer?
No, no, no. That's fully.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
No, I.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, no, no. That goes into the whole wrap. That's part of the process, and they have to pay for that.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome. I mean, these are all great things because I think if you are, I mean, if you are, that's, I would rather do two, if you're doing disassembly and assembly, like flat out one guy, you're one car a week, period.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Or you can trade $300 twice a week. Let's just call it $300 twice a week. So you're paying $600 and now I can do two.
Mm-hmm.
And your full rate currently is
Mm-hmm.
how much?
Right now
I
with
know it varies per
this,
car, but let's just
oh,
say like
for like wrap or
yeah,
disassembly.
a color change.
Color change. So color change can range from anywhere from around like labor wise or
No, full price.
full price, anywhere from around 29 or 28, 29 as
Small
our
car.
lowest. Yeah, like Tesla, we'll take that 28, 29 all day.
Okay.
All the way up to like 4,500. Yeah.
Okay.
It can range all the way up to that. Just depends on, the size of the car. SUVs are obviously going to be higher on that range as well too. Also if they want door jams done, then, there's a whole nother factor price for that. It could be like, depending on the car, some coupes, some four door, it can be anywhere from around 4 to 600 per set, you know, and all
Okay.
that. Yeah.
I will tell you to raise your prices on your door jams.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, but then we don't do it that often,
Yeah.
So like when we get to do it, it does end up sometimes being higher price, like 800 per set, because these people want to do like print,
Yeah.
and then it gets
That
harder.
seems to
But
be
like,
really common lately is the
yeah,
printed ones.
yeah,
I have yet to sell a single door jam
yeah,
in
it's
13 years,
yeah.
and it's because I'm $1,000 a jam.
Wow.
I don't want to do it.
Yeah, no, that's. But if they do it, then it's worth it.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, it's just not something I'm interested in.
Right.
But I mean, you seem, I, I don't know. I'm torn sometimes. Like I know that this is why I wanted to have the chat with you, because I also know that like say the Tesla, I knew that you were around like 3,000,
Mm-hmm.
but dude, you can do a Tesla in 6 hours.
Yeah, in like a day. Yeah.
And so if you're efficient like that and you can charge 29, if you could get 5 Teslas in a week,
Mm-hmm.
let's just do some
Oh,
math here.
it'd be
At
nice.
$3,000, it's $15,000 for the week. Obviously, you'd probably have some logistical issues with that. So like, I don't want to hear anybody fight me on this. Just we're being like simple here. 15 grand. You got what's a roll of color change film right now?
Nowadays is like, yeah, 7,
700? Because I don't know
800
that.
sometimes,
So
depending.
so you're $2,300. You got $300 for your guy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you, even if you were to pay an installer $1,000 to install a Tesla, you're still as a business not doing horrible.
Right.
It's still not ideal. I still prefer to be on the upper end of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that you're gonna end up coming into that.
Yeah.
I do. As you start acquiring more help, you're gonna see that you're gonna need to raise the prices a little
Of
more.
course. Yeah.
But I think for your age, man, like it's incredible because you're putting out a great product. I mean, I've looked these over, like, and they are great.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're
Yeah.
doing a really, really good job. So, um, it's such a weird debate because everybody's like, "Oh, you should charge like the highest prices," but
Yeah.
I guarantee you, there's not many people your age that makes the money you make.
Right. Like, I like to say somewhere along the way, I found a sweet spot
Mm-hmm.
which will keep people coming, where I'm pretty happy with, and where it makes everyone money as well too. Obviously it helps uplift the business as well
Mm-hmm.
too. So I think for me, I found a pretty good sweet spot on basing cars out. Like, I understand the concept of like bringing it
Well, you're
high,
also, to
Yeah.
go back to what you said at the very beginning, you're not doing per square foot. So
Right.
that's the reason why Tesla's 2,900, and
Yeah.
you did say 4,500, which is
Mhm.
a great price for a color change.
Right.
So you're basing it purely off of like truly what are my time spent on that car, and you're actually being pretty reasonable. Whereas, like, I mean, I won't lie, I'm more like, bring on the Tesla because I'm about to make some money because
Yeah.
it's gonna be $4,000,
Right.
and they still pay it to me, but um, I I still don't, like it's great that you're doing it at that because realistically, there are lesser expenditures against that vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
There's way less labor.
Right.
The labor's so low.
Yeah, it's barely any like disassembly.
Mhm.
And even if you are disassembling, it's so simple. Like
Mhm.
the trims come out with just a bunch of little torques and the cameras come out in like a minute each and
Mhm.
all that, you know, and that's that's it. Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
so let's talk. We'll shift. So now we're year 3. You're now in this shop, I believe, is
Mm-hmm.
at that point,
Right.
correct? Now this shop's how large? Like
This
1,800?
is this is a 1,200 square feet.
Okay.
Yeah. So I can fit decent amount of
This is a
cars.
really well laid out 1,200 square because my shop just down the, like literally 2 seconds that way, by the pawn shop.
Yeah.
Behind there, there's the little building that does like this.
Oh, okay.
I had a shop there,
Oh,
and it was 15 or 1,600 square foot,
yeah.
but it didn't widen out like this, unfortunately, and instead it was a
Oh,
little narrower, and it
yeah.
didn't feel as, this one feels bigger.
Yeah, yeah.
We barely could get 3 in there,
Oh,
and it was bigger square footage than this.
wow.
Yeah, it felt weird. But how, so your shop is, you said 1,200 square,
That's 100
so
square
you're
feet.
probably like 2 to 2,500 on rent.
No, not even.
Really?
I'm at 1250 a month right now.
Dude, man, I
Yeah.
need to get you to
Yeah.
negotiate my leases for me. My lease on my Nocatee shop, man, I'm at
Yeah.
8 grand basically
Oh,
for
over
2,400
there?
square foot.
It's the area.
I
Yeah, it's the
know,
area. Yeah.
but now that you're here, you've upfit, you got the hex lights, you got air conditioning, which is the most important thing. So you
Hmm.
upgraded that. Did
Yeah.
it come with it?
No, I actually put it in.
That hurt, didn't it?
Yeah, I know someone
Uh-huh.
with it, like that does it. And he actually helps my mom out, who's a realtor a lot. So he gave me a really good deal on this.
Okay.
So we were
How
at the
much did it cost you to move into this shop?
oof. It's funny because moving in, so I was like, oh, okay, it's not gonna be that bad. My budget was 10K. I hit that so fast.
That's so fast.
It's within the first, I think, 3 days, blew through 10K. I was like, how did this happen? You know, it's crazy. Like the flooring already was like 3K, you know, and then that is what was it? He gave me a deal. It was only about 4,500 for
It's a
that,
great price.
and it's a 5 ton, and without the ducting and everything.
No, it breathes good. It's
Yeah.
plenty cold.
Oh yeah. And then you have the paint in here as well too.
Mhm.
The lights, installing all the lights, and also doing
Did you
all
have
the
to run
electrical.
electrical?
Yeah, have to run. Was it electric? Like paying for electric is,
It
oh my
sucks.
gosh, it sucks. Like for an electrician to come out and just, they say like just the parts is expensive too.
Yeah.
So like everything started adding up, and I started doing my stuff in my office and all that. Getting all these like racks for the walls, you know, it like everything was adding up, and I ended up around moving in is I think I ended up about 20 to 25. Like it
Yeah,
was
it's
crazy.
expensive.
Yeah.
And
I
this
was
is
like, I took out everything. That's
yeah.
it. Yeah.
So, and did that came from savings of basically what you had accrued over the
Pretty
years?
much. Yeah.
Okay.
I was
It's
hoping
worth
to
it.
use it to my car, but you know, it didn't go that way. So
It was much better suited here than your car,
yeah.
I promise.
Yeah.
So, I would rather fit this building than to put a turbo kit on your car or something.
Yeah. No, I mean, it was a great investment, you know.
Yes.
After a while, I did see it. I was like, you know, I'm investing into the business,
Mhm.
and this business is gonna be the one that's gonna do me well, you know.
Yeah.
My car is just, you know, it's always gonna be there.
Yeah.
Eventually, I can do whatever I want to it, but I think the main focus was here, and it did hurt a lot in the beginning because I'm like, I went way over budget, you know. But I'm so glad at how everything turned out, you know.
Yeah.
Everything it was so surreal to me moving into my own shop, making all this happen,
You earned it.
moving up in life, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just really awesome.
It's a big step up for Pewter Pit.
Yeah.
So the the world of color change or even like restyling and stuff started really shifting like post COVID. PPF is like hotter than ever. Color change PPF is getting
Mhm.
even crazier. how have you transitioned into that, and has that helped your business or?
So actually, we do a lot of color change, right? And like I said, at least every week we have a color change. We do get PPF here and there. We do stay pretty decently busy with the PPF
Don't say you
too.
say here and there. There's 3 in here right now.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, it's here. Okay, well, like as in like it'll come in spurts, you know.
okay,
Sometimes like for 2, 3 weeks I'll be dry of PPF,
okay.
straight color change. But it's coming to the point where I'm getting to like, my goals of just customizing cars. Yeah, a lot of cars just get clear, but now we're getting like the color, like, over here with the R8, we have like the gold flake PPF over it. And it is, it changes the whole car. So that's kind of like what excites me. But in terms of like the market, I don't think it's disrupted too much. People are there's still going to be the market for the lower end color change.
Mhm.
PPF always going to cost more because it takes more to install. It is harder to install sometimes, and also like the working time as well too, and the prep, and just how everything works on PPF versus vinyl is different. Um, but both ways, we ended up opening up to just PPF wraps, and then also like, customization. Like we can do like lip kits and all that too. Over there we have a, wide body kit that we're putting on. So we're getting into like full customization. It's really awesome.
So you're gonna actually mod cars too?
Yeah. So the point is to kind of like full customize your car. That way your car looks like a totally different car by the time it comes out.
I
You
got
know.
But
So like that's why I offer both. Our main thing is always gonna be like, the wraps, the color change, the PPF and all that. But it's gonna be like what is it? Like customizing a car is like it's not exactly on the side where they're doing it together. We always have someone on it, but like it's more like maybe for now that it's starting up, like it's only recently. It's like one every like 2 months or so,
yeah,
and by the time, yeah, the build will get done, it just stuff like this like takes time.
yeah.
So we want to make sure to take time with it, comes out good, and then like that's what I love. Like, that's when word spreads even more, you know and especially when they see like not only did you customize a car, like the wrap is on there too. And that's just a whole statement of itself, as
For sure.
well. Like to set the shop. Yeah.
Where do you see yourself in, let's say, 5 years?
5 years?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm interested because you've done a
like that.
lot in 3.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean the goal by then, I was thinking even, yeah, about three hopefully 3 more years, is to have a much bigger shop.
Okay.
I would like maybe like a 5 to 7,000 square feet, and be able to do all this, have like
A dedicated
yeah,
area.
dedicated area. So like, a dedicated area for we have like paint correction and coating here. Wraps and PPF is going to be a bigger section. PPF will have like a whole clean room and all that. um and then was it also like, whole customizing car corner where we have all the parts, which that takes a lot of, area space. But like that's kind of where I want to be in about, at least another 3 to 4 years. 5 years, I'm not 100% sure, but I would hope that the business is very, busy and all that. Yeah.
I don't
Especially with all this kind of stuff, like customization. Like I want to bring that to Jacksonville because I feel like Jacksonville doesn't have that kind of, people that want to do that as much. But like I think it's somewhere in them. We just gotta bring it out.
Yeah, I mean, we basically have, in Jacksonville, there's no shop that's kinda doing exactly what you're talking about, except for maybe Tent World,
Yeah, right. Right. But
whatever.
but that's like I like to say it's a what's that? It's like a chain.
It is a chain.
Yeah, it's a chain.
So
So like
it's just gonna be cookie cutter, it's not gonna be custom like you're saying.
that's what I mean.
And
Yeah.
that existed back in the day, but, it kinda went away, and then I think it's
Mhm.
slowly kinda coming back and
Yeah.
trending a little bit.
Yeah.
Especially, like, you could say, like, your audio shops and stuff really died off, like, back in
Mhm.
the '90s, they were
Oh,
kicking,
yeah,
man.
everyone
That was
subs
before your
everywhere.
time, but, like, I remember when that was, like, a huge thing, but then, um, that there would be, like, neon lights and stuff like that that tied into that, stereo systems,
Mhm.
etcetera. now those shops that still were doing that they're getting into vehicle wrap space a little bit, and they're actually doing very well. Because one of my mentors is from that world, and so he coaches a lot of people, and I'm kind of in one of his groups, and they're all asking me tint and wrap questions all the time because they're like, okay, our stuff's starting to come back, but how can we kind of like combine it to where we're changing our ticket rate for whatever a sub and stereo system would be, plus lights on these trucks, especially. Can we also do the window tint PPF ceramic coating too, to then have a really good ticket to increase our revenue per unit of car that comes in the shop? So it's an interesting outlook. I think I'm sure you'll figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, just like we talked about before, it's more of like my passion for the cars, you know. Um, with that, the money will come. That's how
You
I
just
like
have to
to look
adjust
at.
some numbers to make that.
Yeah, like slowly. I like to build the reputation first before, like just like how I said, like in the beginning, I started it low, I increase higher and higher and higher, and to where I feel it's a good, comfortable, fair rate for everyone, and to be able to cater to certain kind of people, to make it happen, because because we can put it skyrocket, but I want to make sure that there's people that can be able to afford it somewhat, although it does mess with the market sometimes, but I think it comes down to like just the standard of the quality of work
Well,
being
there's a
done.
customer for everybody. I
Right.
mean, the the person that goes to a shop that's boutique only,
Mm-hmm.
they're probably not your customer anyway.
Right.
Like your customer is like the auto enthusiast that's like hardcore enthusiast,
Yep.
and you're being incredibly welcome to the median end. But like
Mm-hmm.
you're not necessarily cheap by any means. Not anymore, at least. Like when you're 19, sure, but like,
Yeah.
dude, you were 19.
Yeah.
So um I think you've done a great job. And I kind of wanted to kind of extract, how you build this up, because like it's impressive what you have done in such a short amount of time, because it a lot of people get stuck. I mean, even just the idea of letting go control of the mechanical side of things
Mm-hmm.
um probably saved you more time than you realized. And
Yeah.
that's what's allowed you to grow the business.
Oh yeah.
And now you're going to be confronted with the funnest part, which is training and hiring staff, which is going to be the
Yeah.
next
For
wave of your
sure.
life,
Yeah. It's
especially
definitely
as
hard.
a young adult. Because you're how old now?
I'm
25?
24.
25? So I started my business when I was 23, and the first person I hired was older than me. And it's weird.
Yeah.
Like, as a young adult, it's
Yeah.
very weird having potentially older people work for you, because,
Mhm.
like, you kind of feel weird, like, delegating to them.
Yeah.
Because at first you kind of look at it like you're telling them what to do, but not really. You're leading them, and that's a different framework. But at first you don't view it as like leadership. You kind of view it as I'm bossing somebody around. It's
Mhm.
strange because like it's like bossing my dad around.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be pretty interesting to watch you grow through that.
Yeah.
But you already have multiple steps. Like, is everybody contracted that you currently hire, or do you
For the
hire people?
most part, like, yeah, contracted, but like they're always here,
Yeah,
and they mainly stick with me
yeah,
because I also keep them busy.
right.
But these are the main guys that I choose because it's the quality of work,
Yeah, yeah. Because you
and
have let's go through your team. So you have
a rap
a
rap
rapper,
guy. Yep. Mm-hmm.
you got a
A
mechanic,
rapper and mechanic basically. Yeah.
and then what else you got? Just those two?
And me.
Okay, cool. That's great.
Yeah. So
So
just a little trio for now. And then, when I start opening up a little bit more, then then I'll take on more. But I think right now is we're building a good foundation.
how far off are you from your first $1 million year?
We're almost halfway.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, with three, it's not
Yeah.
bad. I mean,
Yeah.
there's weird diminishing returns on people where like early on in business you don't have the capital to invest in leverage but you need the capital to buy leverage. So
Mm-hmm.
like it's halfway there, three people, dude, that's a great business though. I mean, because like you could probably refine that and get to 600K with a three,
Yeah.
but who do you think's your next hire?
I think I need was it probably a pretty good like sales person.
Or at least an
Um,
admin to organize you guys?
yes, it definitely helps a lot. It would to take off my plate as well too. Because right now, yeah, I help out with the wrapping and the PPF and all that, but like I still take care of the customer service,
Mhm.
in the off time, and I do it well. It's
You're
good.
gonna
Like, yeah,
I I I will tell you with how you built your business,
yeah,
that's gonna be the hardest. I think letting go of the customer service side is
yeah.
going to be harder than letting go of the rap side.
It is difficult. We've tried hiring in the past, and yeah, part of it has been pretty difficult because like
They wanna talk to
sometimes
you.
they don't. Yeah,
You
everyone
trained
wants to
everybody
talk
to
to
talk to you.
me. They're like, hey, can we talk to like Justin? And I'm like,
Mhm.
oh yeah, and I'm like thinking in my head like, what do I have you for? And then not only that, it's like also getting is the hard part is like getting people to want to do what you do,
Yep.
but like they can't do it because they're not you. And it's like it's a hard thing to realize, that
Mhm.
like they're not me.
Yeah.
They like yeah, they're just not me. Yeah.
Well, and there
Yeah.
never will be,
Right.
and it's not fair to expect that of anybody, but
Mm-hmm.
I'll leave you with this quote that basically I think it was, Austin Cook from Tenstitute because I train my customers to only talk to me too.
Yeah.
And it was basically that if a customer if I talk to my customer, like these people trust you,
Mm-hmm.
right? So these people are an extension of you.
Right.
Therefore, all you have to say to that client is, listen, I've hired this person because they meet the standard in which Just a Wrap requires.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, in order for us to do the best job for you, we're getting to the point that I'm becoming a problem.
Mm.
So if I can continue to talk to you, I'm going to fail you eventually.
Yeah.
I'm trying to solve this problem, so I really need you to talk to my staff.
Yeah.
You should trust this person as if it was me because I trust this person and they're meeting the standard that I require. So if you trust me, then you should trust them. And if
Right.
you can't use them, then maybe you aren't my customer.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
I thought that was really powerful because he's just saying that, like, in order, like, because you are going to hit a point, you haven't yet, but you're going to hit a point where you will not be able to facilitate all the customer service and the rap needs at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to burn you out if you don't
Yeah.
solve for it.
Right. Right. No, it definitely can get difficult at times
Mhm,
because like sometimes when the influx of inquiries come in, it's
mhm.
like we gotta hop on it right away,
Yeah,
otherwise you're gonna lose the customer, you
absolutely.
know? And it's so important to make sure to be on that,
Mhm.
but as well as to make sure, we're on our A game over
Yeah,
here too and things are flowing in the shop, you
yeah.
know? But yeah, definitely that's a good quote.
I
Yeah,
heard that and I was like,
yeah.
okay, because like
That's
all
really good. I never really thought about like,
you have
projecting
to
it
set
that
the
way.
standard
Yeah.
that I am setting the standard with who I hire. And if
Hmm.
you hear,
Yeah.
like, basically, if they treat you below standard, then tell me.
Yeah.
That's what I want to know,
Right.
and I will handle it. Right. And that's showing growth on your end too.
Mhm.
The customer should want to see you grow. Cause I mean, especially like, let's just say like this guy with this R8, he's clearly successful. That guy will respect you more for it
Mhm. Yeah.
because you want what he has potentially.
Right.
Right. And so anybody that has any moderate, you know, there might be some people who won't understand, but especially your best customers will 1000% understand because they
Mhm.
want to support you and see you grow because they buy from people that they know, like, and trust.
Right.
So it's important. Well, what would you tell anybody that was in your position just a few years back? Let's leave it with that. Let's close it out.
Um,
Some
Honestly,
advice.
I would say like really first thing is to have a plan in a way. Um, like I said, I take calculated risk, but always have a somewhat of a gauge of a plan on where you plan to have yourself in a certain amount of years. Goals.
Yeah.
Always have goals and just if you're gonna go after it, like just never give up. Biggest thing, just never give up. I see a lot of people like they push and push and they kind of fall along the way. And when they fall, they kind of just keep falling, you know?
Yeah.
Um, but the biggest thing I would say is just honestly never give up and keep at it. But like, your actions will speak louder than your words. And it's just to just keep doing it and keep and make sure that, in this business like this, for like I said, like with what we do, keep quality at the highest, and that way, it'll bring out for what is like, behind you, and also like it will structure your business as well too. So, that's pretty much, yeah,
Sweet.
what I could say.
This was fun,
Yeah, yeah,
and I've enjoyed the shop. I
yeah,
can't complain about an Audi R8 and a Lambo Performante. So
yeah. No, it's nice, it's nice to have like treats like this. Like we get this,
once in a while,
once in a while. Sometimes more often than not. But
it's
but
waves.
yeah, it comes, and it's nice to have. It's a nice refresher and all that. And it's once in a while we get, the old beat up Honda Accord, and it's a little humbling. So it's pretty,
Yeah,
it's like, hey man, we gotta do what we gotta do. Yeah.
absolutely. Cool. Well, I'm excited for your next 5 years.
Of course, no. Yeah. Thank you.
We'll see
Appreciate
you
it, man.
later.